In today's video, we're going to be comparing components on our F450 to the components on our F350 single rear wheel. How much more beefy is an F450? Underneath the 450, one of the things I noticed immediately is how heavy duty the sway bars are. They're like 1.5 inch thick sway bars, and it really lends a hand to how stable this truck is while loaded. Let's take a look at the 350. Underneath the F350, when we take a look at our sway bar, we're about 1 inch thick sway bar. So that's very interesting. Our sway bars are 1.5 inch thick on the 450, but 1 inch thick on the 350. And it kind of makes me wonder, is it possible to switch the sway bar and to upgrade a F350 sway bar to an F450 sway bar? I don't know. Pretty interesting. Looking underneath the 450, there's no reason why this sway bar wouldn't swap right into a 350 single rear wheel or 250. What a cool upgrade that would be to have that kind of added stability to a lighter duty truck. It would definitely add a good amount of confidence when the vehicle is at its max load. Here at the rear end of the F450, you see this massive rear end and equipped with a sway bar as well, because this is a camper prep package. And the sway bar here is massive. We are at about 1.25 inch thick sway bar, and that is quicker or thicker than this front sway bar on the F350 single rear wheel. But yeah, very, very strong rear end here, geared to 430. Here in the back of the F350, the rear sway bar is quite thin compared to the 450. We're at about 1.7 inches thick on the rear sway bar here, and still better than nothing. I mean, this is a package that gives us that rear sway bar on this truck. I can't remember the exact package, maybe the camper certification package. But yeah, nice to have, does improve. But again, I wonder, now with this one, it doesn't look like that 450 rear sway bar would match up, but it might. But it would be cool to at least have that big front one for guys who plow snow and haul salt and really push the limits. That would be a very cool upgrade. Another cool feature on this F450 is the rear hitch. Not only do you have a 3-inch receiver, but you also get a 2,400 pound tongue weight, as well as a 24,000 pound towing ability on your rear hitch, which is excellent. I believe that it's probably best in class. Now, on this 350, we have a 2.5 inch receiver and a maximum tongue weight of 1,800 pounds and a maximum towing of 18,000 pounds. And what I've noticed with the 2.5 inch receivers is they don't accept trailer chains as well as the 3-inch receivers. For whatever reason, the openings here are bigger on the 3-inch receivers, and they just take hooks better. As you see, we have our loops added here, and I know people get on me all the time that these aren't strong enough or whatever. I think they're strong enough, they're just not rated for this purpose. They're rated for about 3,600 pounds each, and I just run 2 and double them up. I really don't think they're gonna break under any circumstances. But yeah, the 450 has a massive carrying ability on the rear hitch. One of the reasons this F450 has these 19.5 inch is because the brakes on this truck are massive. If you were to have any other wheel, the brakes would not even fit in the wheel. So that's one of the things about this truck, is you get an upgraded rotor and pads. You get a little bit larger rotor and pads for better braking. In the rear, it's a little bit easier to see just how beefy these are. You can see right into the caliper there. Look how big these calipers are. Just massive brakes. Really good for stopping some serious weight. One of the things worth mentioning about the F450 pickup, at least, is from the tires down, everything with this truck is an F450. That means the brakes, tires, axles, all that is F450. But from the springs up, everything is F350 dually. So it's kind of a weird truck when you're dealing with an F450 pickup. It is not the same as the F450 cab and chassis that has a true F450 heavier duty rear springs, huge payload numbers, and a rougher ride. This thing rides closer to a 350 dually. It's going to ride a little bit different, It's a little bit stiffer perhaps with these Continental tires because they do have commercial tires, but everything else is an F350 from the springs up. So really it doesn't ride too bad. I mean, it doesn't ride like a cab and chassis. It doesn't ride like a 350 either. Kind of rides somewhere in the middle between an F350 dually and an F450 cab and chassis, and it probably rides closer or more similar to an F350 dually. So peeking in here at the axle ratings, you can see that the rear axle can hold 9,900 pounds and the front axle can hold 6,000 pounds, which is interesting because the rear axle and the front axle combined together is significantly higher than the actual gross vehicle weight rating of 14,000 pounds. So being that this truck is it's somewhat of a derated truck, I guess you could say the ratings kind of stand with the springs on the truck. The actual tires and axles and brakes can handle more weight than the actual rating of the truck. So being that you can hold 9,900 plus pounds on the rear axle, you'll probably have a harder time going over your rear axle weight for any given task compared to maybe even your front axle, which is only at 6,000 pounds, compared to our F350 that has a front axle weight rating of 5,990 pounds and a rear axle rating of 6,780 pounds. So this F350 single rear wheel can carry more weight on the front end than our F450. Being that this is a gasoline V8, the drivetrain ultimately weighs about 800 pounds less than the 450 with the diesel engine. But all in all, I love the F450. It is a huge conversation starter. I've been getting so many compliments on this truck still after 2 years of plowing snow and everything. Like I've been saying for the longest, these aluminum trucks really hold up, and you can see it in the value on the aluminum body. They just hold up, and people are really starting to catch on and trying to get their hands on these aluminum trucks. Now with the new model coming out, I know these older ones are going to start to drop in value a little, but then again, they are coming out with a new model, but they are not changing to a new material in any way. They're just still going to be aluminum trucks. So I don't really know how low the value is going to drop. Obviously, it's going to drop a little with the looming recession coming, but I think this truck is such a strong value truck. I mean, we didn't lose value from having an accident. We didn't lose value from plowing snow. When I'm selling these trucks, everyone's like, is that a snowplow mount on the 250? Is that a snowplow mount? But on the 450, they see that mount on there. It never even came up. They pretty much don't even see it. No one's haggling. No one's haggling me over snowplowing when it comes to this F450. So it's been a tough thing to even consider selling this truck, but it is something I've considered. But anyway, guys, comment below. Tell me what you think. My name is Sean. This is DS Trucks. See you in the next video. Over and out.